taking out the time to start our marketing to try selling our products. I have seen a few of us who have sent in their sales paraphernalia, which we've corrected some. A lot of people have also chimed in on issues they noticed and all of that. So for this week, we will continue our discussion around sales. Now remember what I said, that in selling, you sell by selling. So after all is said and done, the most important step you still need to take is to actually try to sell. There is nothing to substitute you actually going out and putting your product out there. Now, having said that, there is something that is very, very important or paramount in any business, and that is what we call strategy. Personally, I always say this to people, that yes, I know the whole story around Joseph and the fact that he interpreted the dreams and all of that. But I believe that from a business perspective, that the reason Joseph became a prime minister was not because he interpreted the dream. Because if we go by the history of the Egyptians at that time, or the Egyptians at that time, his ability to interpret the dream, the best position he should have gotten was to be the chief priest, the chief juju man or whatever. The fact that he was able to figure out something that required some extraterrestrial powers. So he should be the head of that segment or that sector, but not the head of a government parastatal. But you realize that the reason why he was able to transition quickly from being a spiritual head to having a political office is because he was able to provide strategy. He was able to provide strategy. So it means that in any business that is going to survive or succeed, strategy is important. Strategy is paramount. So what would determine whether what you're doing would succeed or not? It's your ability to understand the business strategy. The business strategy. Now, the good thing is, in 1979, a business guru by the name Michael Portal gave us like a leadway on how to develop strategies for our business. So in the next couple of lectures, I would want us to take time to understand these strategies so that we are able to use these strategies in our businesses, first to give us an edge, so that we understand our place in the market space. What is our space? Where is our place? How do we ensure we have a better niche? How do we ensure we command more, and all of that? Now, this strategy that Michael Porter came up with in 1979, that was published in an article, is referred to as Porter's 5 forces. The Porter 5 forces. Some people just call them the Porter 5. So we are going to take time to explain each of these Porter's 5, but in a way that we will be able to use it for our business. So we call them 5 forces. So we have the Porter 5. The first one is, we are going to again take time to explain threats of new entrants. So in that business that you were doing, how well you will succeed, how profitable you would be, is basically dependent on how easy it is for new people to pick up what you're doing. The threat of new entrants. How easy is it for me to say, okay, I want to start tomato farming tomorrow? Oh, you say, for example, you are into product delivery the way Future Food is doing. How easy is it for me to say I want to start same business? Now we're going to take time to look at the characteristics of things you look at to understand how easy it is to push you out of business. Next is the buyer's power. So how much power does your buyer have in the whole of this story? how much power, how much influence can your buyer exert on your company. So let's take for example, I remember there was a time past, if I remember the story well, one guy who sells, I don't know if he still sells, I think he does, who sells perfume in I think he's in Abuja, and there was a time where there was a whole lot of controversy, and he made a statement, and the buyers got angry about what he said, his own position. And what happened? They started taking their perfume bottles they bought with their own money and started smashing and saying they were not going to go back to buy from him anymore. And that caused him a whole lot of distress that he had to come out to apologize. So buyer's power will look at the things under that. Then there is supplier's power. There is the supplier's power. How much power does your suppliers have over you? So this thing that you are doing, how much do you need to depend on a third party to get what you want to get done? Because if you do not have total control over your suppliers, it means that they can decide to toy with your company's profitability, even your company's existence. By just deciding not to sell to you could be the end of your business. By deciding not to fulfill their obligation could be the end of your venture. So that is a big area. Then we have substitutes. Substitutes or alternatives. So what this means is, in this business that you were doing, what are the substitutes for what you do? So I am into tomatoes. There is tomato paste, there is tomato puree, there is steamed tomatoes, there is powdered tomatoes. All of these are substitutes. So what substitutes are available to your buyer that they can choose from? This plays a big role also. And then the fifth one is rivalry amongst competitors or contemporaries. Because you are not only going to be looking at all of these external forces, but there is also the internal forces within your own